Hello, this is Lisa May Young and welcome to Holding the Space. I am absolutely delighted today to be joined by Bridie Mackenzie and Patricia Joyce. Hello ladies, how are you?
Good, thank you.
Now, we've known each other for a long time. I'm absolutely delighted to be sitting down to be speaking to you about counselling and what you're doing with your counselling at the moment. First of all, tell us about Bridie.
I suppose my background, how I became to delivering the COSCA certificate in counselling skills. I've worked in the kind of substance misuse field, meaning with people with drugs and alcohol problems, for a long time. Donkey's years, so I've worked at the front line, I can, in management and training, but I'm really been interested in training and the COSCA, I feel, is a passion, the COSCA certificate in counselling skills. So I've been delivering that for about 10 years, all over Scotland. We have people with a variety of background who come start maybe their journey, to use that word, in either counselling, or it maybe supports the work they do as a nurse or a social worker or a support worker, or some people that work in the public sector as well.
Tell us about Trisha.
Yeah, I qualified. I started off, the reason I got really interested in counselling was using counselling skills. I was an SVQ assessor, and I used to go in and see people about their SVQs and hear their whole life story and how things were hard, and I was just a bit worried about how I was holding them. Went along and did the counselling certificate in an evening class, and then got really interested in the theory around counselling. Went on and did the diploma, and then ended up working with the drug and alcohol team like Bridie. So got really involved in the addiction part of work and really enjoyed the theories and concepts around that, working with people. And yet have been delivering the counselling skills course for not as many years as Bridie, I don't think, but many years. And love the fact that it really gives people that opportunity to be with somebody at a deeper level. As Bridie said, it doesn't have to be a counsellor, it could be a guidance teacher, or it could be a nurse, but somebody, just sitting with that person and able to really hear them and reflect, because that's the most beautiful thing you can give to somebody, is to actually listen to them.
Yeah, and offering that safe space as well.
Absolutely. So and so have been delivering the counselling skills course for a bit, and like Bridie, I'm an active practitioner, so have a little practice and supervise other counsellors.
So you both keep out of trouble then?
Most of the time. And I think to carry on what Trisha was saying, I think that bit of seeing people, there's nothing more that, being able to listen to unconditionally, and folk come along and get a lot of it. But I think the most thing for me, and Trisha and I speak a lot about, is we're so fortunate we see people in transition. Sometimes folk come to the course where, they want to enhance their skills in different professions, and maybe they're feeling a bit jaded, and you just see them just change and get a lot of just enthusiasm and personal development. And sometimes for the COSCA, it's not all plain sailing. It can touch on sort of edges, and that can be challenging. But the beautiful thing is when you see people that are in the process and deciding courageously to sort of go through the course, and you see them out the other end. So we've both had really the privilege to see folk kind of re-energised, and from social work that sometimes, or from nursing, that can be really, they're at the hard end of not being, not having that quality time now, so they've really appreciated coming to the course. It's not been therapy to them, it's been personal and professional development.
Yeah, and becoming a butterfly almost. That's how I see counselling. It's that person is, they've been in their cocoon for a while, and they're unveiling their wings.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, Trisha, the course has been offered through the Ground and Learning Partnership. Can you tell us about that?
Found that both Bridie and I deliver training on behalf of other organisations, and I just kind of felt I would like to take the control over myself so that we could deliver in places where people don't usually go to. So for instance, Kirkcaldy, the certificate a lot more accessible for small groups. So, it is just myself and Bridie and another couple of affiliate trainers, and it makes it much more reactive. We don't have to worry about big organisations like colleges and their diet, you know, where they have to start in September and they have to finish in August, and it has to be Monday or Friday. We can deliver at weekends, we can deliver at evenings, we can start in January. So it kind of started by default because we kind of observed a need for something other than the bigger organisation.
And I think that, yeah, exactly, we both felt like that. It gives us a freedom. I think that's what Trisha's saying, there's a freedom to respond to need, you know, and we're not as restricted. Already here in Trisha and I both live at different parts of the world of Scotland. Me near Edinburgh, or on the Highland. So already that's blossoming and being able to meet, as you say, different needs and maybe identify that, not as restrained within an organisation. And I think the beauty thing is, because COSCA, most of it before you were affiliated to an organisation, and Trisha taking this forward, there's very few people, so now that she can actually meet other needs, she can either times or just exactly what she was saying.
So because the people that are coming to your courses are very individual, very independent, so you're able to, I feel like, fit more to their needs.
Absolutely.
As a partnership.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I've seen in the news recently that the Scottish Government have introduced some funding, which is £20 million for mental health counsellors. What are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on that, Trisha?
I guess for me, my thoughts on it are really positive, because for a long time counselling was either free through agencies, and that was very hit and miss. And certainly having worked in agencies, maybe people would come along. For instance, we work in addiction, and I worked for a young people's project. People would be shoehorned into things so that they could get a service. So they'd come along to an addictions agency and we'd have to make an addiction up for them because there was so much, there was limited unless you had money to pay for a private counsellor. So especially this money going into schools and further education will be really beneficial. And I guess for me, the positive side is the government have been really thorough. I sit on the COSCA board, and what I'm really aware of is that the government haven't just given this money to schools who will then maybe put it to a school counsellor or an auxiliary person who's done a wee course. They're actually been really, really restrictive on who is actually going to get this money, what the course, what the requirements of that person is. So it will really make a difference, particularly to young people. That's particularly where I hear it, although there are other mental health things more in the adult settings as well, especially further in higher education, because we've got so many foreign students now that come with lots of complex issues. Yes. And the counselling services at the universities and the colleges have become very restrictive, so hopefully that will open it a little bit.
And in a way, it's facilitating that next generation of counsellors.
Absolutely. And I think, like, to add to what Trisha said that we were both saying, you know, in terms of people coming into the field to do COSCA, the COSCA is like such a foundational course that then people can decide either to use it in their work, but it might be also a gateway to do a formal diploma in counselling. And I think that one of the things to add to what Trisha's saying, the government offering this money, for me, it's a recognition of the importance of counselling, but maybe it's also a recognition that the field of counselling often, you know, people come often to counselling to train as counsellors as a second career. So there's something about the government putting their money where their mouth is now and really valuing in counselling. So doing a COSCA, as we've said, it's like a foundation course, and it can open other doors. You know, the course that we are delivering, or thinking the start of their career, this can be the starting point of their career, and there's money towards that.
And certainly certain colleges and universities will ask that or organisations will ask that as a prerequisite of being accepted on the diploma. So that will be the opening, you know, that will be the thing that opens the gate into a diploma, that they will have the counselling skills certificate. And sometimes some of the colleges beside me, Murray College, recognise it as the first year of their diploma. So it's certainly integrated into the wider field of counselling.
As someone that has been lucky enough to be sitting in a classroom with you and doing the course, I'm just curious from both your perspectives, Bridie, when someone's sitting in the classroom, what do you want them to learn? I know we've got the syllabus.
That's a really good question. I think that COSCA gives two branches. It gives people, there's an opportunity to learn how to listen well and the many flavours of that. And I think the other bit of it, as I was saying earlier, when we see people grow and blossom and, you know, and the personal development of it. Because the thing which is lovely about COSCA is it looks at all the different modalities, all the different counselling perspectives. By that I mean the different theories there are. And it's maybe a kind of snapshot of all of them, or a rough guide. But in that, people start to understand themselves through that lens. And so it can be very beneficial in a kind of growth and development, you know, and can be challenging. So I think that's the two bits of it. And I think the third bit of it is actually having that opportunity, you know, to develop over the course of a year, build up relationships, friendships, the peers in that. And, you know, often people feel quite sad at the end of it. And, you know, I'm looking at yourself, Lisa, in my sense that I remember that course, even for both of us, we can be quite sad to end that, because we've been on a journey with people for a year.
Yeah.
I suppose the other thing of it, we change. Every time we do it, I do it, I feel I learn more about myself, and that can be both challenging, but it can be enlightening as well. There's quite a bit of a trade-off for both of us delivering it.
Absolutely, yeah. And I'm the same as you. There's nothing, you know, I think that people learn the skills, the techniques, the ways of being, the ways of doing, but the experiential element just makes them so self-aware to, and things come up for them that they've never realised before, and that's a really lovely thing to see people grow and develop and find out more about themselves. But like Bridie says, I always finish the course going, I feel so blessed, because I always learn from it, and I also self-develop, and we'll then see everybody go off in their little journey. We kind of feel a bit sad because we're not joining them. That's a different journey. And we go back and start again, but we always learn something, don't we?
Absolutely. Each time, and I think it's kind of a privilege in a way to be part of that.
It is such a privilege.
And as both of us as counsellors and supervising people, you know, who are also doing diplomas, for me, it keeps me at the front line a little bit. It keeps me at the front line in engaging with people, but also, I think the other one, it's like we learn from folk, because folk bring such a richness of like worldly experience. You know,
I mean, I can say from my perspective as a student of you both, which I was very lucky to be, counselling, the COSCA counselling certificate was life-changing for me. It was a life-changing experience, and I wouldn't be doing what I am now without that course. And I could
that's
say
lovely
that.
To hear. That's really lovely to hear, because
so I'm very appreciative to both of you.
And I think it's lovely to hear, and you know, because often it's nice to get that feedback. Sometimes we don't get that feedback. We get at the end, but because Trisha and I have worked in the drug and alcohol field for a long time, I think the beauty of what I've seen over the time, the COSCA have opened a lot of doors. So recently, I got an email from someone that had done the course before you and said, that's me just finishing my diploma now, Bridie, and me and so-and-so we're just reflecting on our old COSCA days and want to thank you. It's not about me thinking, oh, that's great what I did. It's just like seeing people take this forward and having the confidence to take it forward, because a lot of people come to the COSCA, they've got no qualifications, they've been out of learning for years, some folk, and often, isn't that right, Trisha? You know, we've had a mixture of folk, people who are professionals, you know, from a professional background, folk that have got a life experience, and because there's a lot of from European folk, we're lucky to have a very diverse community now in Scotland. So that's been really rich as well. Folk
and do you know what's lovely? You see people in the first unit, first module, and you can see them eyeing each other up. Oh, he's a professional, and she, I'm just a mother, or all that kind of stuff. And at module 4, the recognition is